Yo, what up? Here to talk about Apollo 18. And no, I did not pay $2.99 to see it. If I did, I would kill myself. There's a reason we've never gone back to the moon. This movie sucks ass. Boom, review done. It's a found footage film or whatever you want to call it. I was trying to get the first person film to catch on. I liked that one. I forgot who I saw do that first, but it seems like found footage is what has caught on as the name for these types of fucking movies, which I know most people are not a fan of, but I am. I love the Blair Witch Project. I think it's a classic. And I liked Cloverfield. I like The Last Exorcism. There's a lot of them that are really good. There's a lot ones like that people that aren't fans of these movies like. This is an argument against found footage films. This is a piece of fucking shit. This makes fucking Paranormal Activity look like a masterpiece. Um, because you know what, um, the Blair Witch Project and The Last Exorcism has that this movie doesn't have characters. There are no characters in this, and there is nothing good about this movie. This movie is what's it about? It's about Apollo 18, which was a mission that never happened, that was canceled. I think because of money. But this movie says, "Oh, it really did happen, and here's the footage of what happened, and here's why we never gone back to the moon." And it's a crew of astronauts. They get sent on the secret mission to the moon. It's been classified like, a secret mission by the Department of Defense. And they're there, I think, like setting up something to like detect missiles from the Russians or something. Like it's something like that. Like they're supposed to set something up for our defense, and it's poorly explained. And they go there, and weird shit starts happening. And I will have some spoilers near the end of the review, and I'll tell you when they're coming. Um, but yeah, it's just not a good movie, man. It sucks so bad. It's very clumsily edited together, and lots of shaky cam, and poor film quality and stuff like that, which partially makes sense because it's supposed to be old footage from the 70s of that was there not to make a pretty movie but just to document stuff for science, right? But we are watching it because it's a movie and it looks like shit. And there's no excuse. I don't care, you know, oh, you want to make it look authentic and this and that, but there's no excuse for it to be so shittily edited. This movie is very poorly edited to the point where, like, there's parts when they're walking around in their astronaut suits and with the helmets on and shit, like out on the moon, and you're like, who is who? What's going on here? There it was I was frequently like, what is going on here? Who is who? You know. So there's no excuse for that. And I wasn't drinking beer or anything when I watched it. I was drinking a root beer, and I still couldn't tell what the fuck was going on. So that's bad. There's no characters. They get up into space. Like there's some stuff at the beginning where like they're getting interviewed before they go into space. Why? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Because it's not like a documentary crew. It's just them with their cameras recording shit. But it starts off with them getting interviewed before they go into space, and they're mostly just like, "Oh, I jump at the opportunity to do a secret mission, out in space, blah blah blah." They get to space. There's a fucking jalapeno dick joke, and then the weird shit starts happening. and the characters are not developed in the beginning part, and they're not developed as it goes along. There's movies like for example Frozen, and that's not a found footage film, but it's like a horror film where very early on these characters get trapped in this horrible situation, and most of the film is just them trying to get out of it, right? But as it goes along, their characters are developed throughout that situation, right? Or take fucking Warrior. There's an hour of fights at the end, but there's drama, human drama happening between the fights. This is all just them responding to the spooky shit that's happening um, out in space, which I think is partially why I don't really like Paranormal Activity is so much better than this. But that's why I don't think I like Paranormal Activity either, where it's just mostly like, oh, they set up the camera so they could try to catch weird shit, and like, there's no real characters and shit to care about. But this, there really is no characters. Um, it's shitty editing and shitty monster. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but that you don't really see. So how big of a spoiler is that? Nothing fucking happens. It's just weird shit starts happening, and then they're like, "Oh, weird shit's happening. Let's try to get out of here." And they try to leave the moon, and more fucked up shit happens. But it's never scary. You never give a fuck about the characters. You can't tell what's going on half the fucking time. And then the character or the reveal fucking sucks when you find out what's going on. And if you don't want to know, I will say spoilers coming up. I'll say it right before I'm going to give the spoilers, but really not a big spoiler because you're not going to give a fuck and it's not interesting. But anyways, spoilers. There's moon crabs. Ooh. Rocks on the moon. Rocks on the moon explode and they turn into moon crabs. Wow. That's so fucking scary and stupid. And like one guy gets infected. And that's probably like the most interesting thing that happens in the movie. But they don't ever do anything good with it. I was waiting for him to like explode into a bunch of fucking crabs or something. Like give me some alien shit fucking popping out of his stomach. No, they don't do anything with it. This movie does nothing except suck ass for 90 minutes. Terrible fucking film. And I hope to God they don't make another. The budget was 5 million, which you might be kind of impressed. Like, oh, they did some cool shit in here for 5 million bucks. They didn't do enough, if you ask me. You could have done some cool special effects and gore effects, and still kept it pretty cheap. But it was a $5 million budget, and it went on to make like 25 million in the fucking theaters. They made their money back 5 times over. So don't be surprised if there's Apollo 19 or some bullshit down the line. But this movie it's so bad. I can't recommend it to fans of the genre. Like, if you're into found footage, you're not going to like it. I love found footage movies. I don't like it. And it's not like, oh, it's just not that good. It's like passable. No, it's a piece of shit. This is a total utter incoherent fucking mess. Piece of shit film with nothing good going for it. Maybe the good thing going for it is settings, space, and like the time, the setting, the 70s and space and whatnot. That's it. That's absolutely it. And you've seen, shit in space that's way cooler. You've seen Alien, and that didn't take place in the 70s, but it was shot in the fucking 70s, and it looks a billion times better than this film from 2011. So 1 star out of 5 for utter garbage piece of shit. Apollo 18, suck my dick. Later.